The other thing I want to talk about is your due diligence as a parent. Now, most of us, we try really hard to inform the school about things like a child who runs away, so that it's not, because most of the time we are so hyper vigilant and trained by our children to pay attention where they are at all the time that it's scary to have somebody else pay attention to them for a while and trust somebody else to watch them for 6 hours. Are you going to watch him close enough? It's pretty scary. And then, me personally, when I found out that Aiden had run away, I was kind of mad because I had informed them multiple times. We'd had many meetings, and there were 4 adults watching him. How did he get that far, when we had pre-warned them? So I was kind of mad, and I was scared to, take him back to school, because what if they don't listen to me this time? They've seen him now, they see how fast he is, and they're all just totally shocked, like, he was just so fast. We couldn't even see it happen. It just happened in the blink of an eye. And we're like, yeah, I believe I used those words to describe the situation to you initially. But, no one ever believes you until they see it. That's been my experience anyway. But, just we as parents, we just want to make sure that we are doing that, though. That we are trying to extend a hand of friendship with the school and inform them as much as we can up front, just letting them know what the situation is and trying to make yourself available, trying to show them that you are involved as a parent and that you want to be able to help the school as much as you can and you want to help your child. But, they need to be able to listen to you. So that's what I like to try and do, is just try and be preemptive with that stuff and introduce myself to the teacher via email or just whatever, before the child even meets their teacher. So that's definitely a route that I would suggest, is to be preemptive. And if you can have some sort of paper trail to show those kinds of things, like, for example, if you talked to the teacher and said, I think it would be important to set up a meeting for us to discuss my child's behavior. And one of the things in particular I want to discuss in that meeting is the possibility of him running away and maybe coming up with an action plan for if that happens. If you send that all in an email, you have that written documentation showing that you informed the school about this and you requested that meeting. You were trying to do everything you could. And the school loves it when they see that parents are involved and that they care, and that automatically gives you brownie points before anything even happens, That doesn't always work, as some of my friends can attest to. But we'll get to that later. The other thing that when you're talking to the teacher and you're informing them about your child is, say they have started running. The school year's already started. Maybe they've run a couple of times. So if you're having a meeting with the teacher, they're going to say, your child's running. What are we supposed to do? Well, what you really need to do is step back and wonder what led to the child getting into the state where they ran off. Now with Aiden, he was just getting really agitated, and they could obviously tell he was agitated because they took him out of the classroom. And when he gets really upset, he's very physically active. He has ADHD as well as autism. And so he thinks it's fun to have people chase him. So if he's trying to get out some of that excess energy and he's trying to, let off some steam, hey, why not start a game of chase? But he was not talking very well still at that point. So how's he supposed to tell them that? And why would he? It's more fun to see the panic look on their faces because it's extreme emotion. It's easier to tell, right? But if the school comes and says, what are we going to do about this running? What are we going to do about this running? And you just have to sit there with them and show it. The running is the end result. It's not the problem. So with Aiden, we said, well, he was getting really agitated. He was really upset. And so we need to find ways to calm him down in the classroom or give him other more suitable ways to take a break. Sometimes it's just that deep pressure, like if they just have like a weighted vest or a weighted blanket that he could just sit under for a little bit and snuggle and then just calm down for himself for like 3 or 5 minutes or something like that. That would have been one way to try and avoid that situation. Another one is that if he is going to be allowed to run in the gym, they need to be aware of that, and somebody has to stay close by him at all times. That was one thing that we said. He's got an aide. That aide cannot be more than arm's length distance away when he's in that mood, because eventually they were able to tell, oh yeah, he's getting in that mood, like warning, warning, warning. And that's another thing that we explained to the school. We were just like, he has certain signs and signals that he gives you when he's about to run. And so you just have to pay attention for that. And usually it's because he's really agitated, he's been sitting for too long, and he needs to get up and do something. And even if it was just a matter of they gave him some silly putty to stop and play with on his desk, there's tons of different options for that. So that would be the other thing to point out to the school, is to walk them back to say, well, what caused the situation? The running is the end result, but that's not what caused it. He didn't just decide to run off. Usually there's a reason why they run. Usually, not always, but usually when it's at school. In the grocery store, I can't help you there. But in the school, usually the kids have a reason why they run.